Hello guys and Happy New Year to every single one of you. Welcome to another episode of Visit Worth It, a series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I have experienced. This episode is about the sequel of one of my favorite PS4 titles, which is none other than Marvel's Spider-Man. This time around is all about Spider-Man Miles Morales, the official sequel to the original. However, unlike before, our main protagonist for the game is Miles Morales. Miles Morales was released on November 12, 2020 for the PS4 and the PS5. It was developed by the one and only Insomniac Games and was published by none other than Sony. The game is also one of the first PS5 launch titles, and it being a sequel to one of the most successful PS4 exclusives, it had a lot of expectations to live up for. So, how did it do? Let's start on our review. The story picks up where the DLC left us. Miles is moving to his new area, and he's also being trained by Peter Parker. However, most of this took place in the official book prequel to the game called Spider-Man Miles Morales Wings of Fury. Without spoiling anything about the game's story, Miles is left alone to defend the entire New York as Peter Parker goes for a 3-week journey as seen from the trailers. A new villainous organization appears, calling themselves the Underground, who are seen to follow the new villain of the game called the Encoder, who is following the path of revenge. The game has a few plot surprises between Spider-Man, the Tinkerer, the Prowler, and Roxanne. Roxanne is a company who seem to be the next leaders in terms of economy. With a lot of tough decisions to be made, Miles realizes that being Spider-Man comes with a price, and he also comes to realize that he should learn how to be responsible and ready for anything if he's to be his own Spider-Man. Personally, I like the plot as it continues the story of Miles. It didn't try to give us any origin since Miles is an already established character from the first game. However, my problem about the story comes with the length of the game. It took me 8 to 10 hours to 100% the game. This means I found all the optional character interactions, collectibles, and everything to make me care about the faces surrounding Miles. However, by the end of the game, I was like, okay. Some characters do get development and understanding of their motives, but some are just there. I might do a video again with spoilers to give you a better understanding, but as a first impression, the pacing felt fast. If I went for the story mode alone, I wouldn't care about anything in terms of Miles' relationship with other people around him. This might be a major deal breaker for some, but for me it was just a bad thing, not enough to make me hate the game. The web swinging of the game is very similar to the original PS4 game. No need to change something if it's already perfect. However, this time we have a different web swinger. Miles swings a bit different than Peter Parker. First of all, Miles has a huge amount of tricks under his sleeve that make his swinging look very stylish while doing them. Also, something very impressive and small detail is the fact that Miles, at times, when not doing tricks, can be seen struggling with swinging, being new and all, which is a nice very detail. Furthermore, unlike Peter who always lands on his 2 feet, Miles will land on his back if he fails to do a trick. Last but not least, Miles has his own Venom ability, aka the electrical skills, which can be used to boost Miles or make him jump even higher, and it's very good when it's combined with his swinging. Doing tricks while web swinging will boost his Venom bar, which will then can be used to do his Venom tricks. During combat, Miles punches, kicks, and launches enemies similar to Peter Parker, but with a battle style that has a lot more jumping and dancing type of fight. This is where things are very different than the OG. Miles only has 4 gadgets: normal web shooters, remote bombs, a device that pulls enemies towards it, and holograms that fight alongside you. As you can tell, these are way less than Peter's, but for Miles' type of combat, they're more than enough. Moreover, Miles has the Venom abilities which I mentioned earlier. Their main usage is for combat and not swinging. The electric abilities are very powerful. The main ones are L1 square that has Miles power punching an enemy. When powered up, this punch can leave an after effect that paralyzes others. L1 and X have Miles jumps up in the air, launching everyone near the blast radius. This allows you to air combo the enemies caught up in the blast. L1, X and square, Miles will jump up and power punch the ground, stunning everyone in its radius. L1 triangle, Miles charges on an enemy, grabs him and throws him away. If he throws them on an enemy, they'll be stunned. Finally, L1, triangle and circle, will conclude on Miles creating an electric explosion similar to Dragon Ball's explosion wave. Last but not least, Miles has his invincible powers that are triggered when the up button on the keypad is pressed. This allows Miles to stealthily take down enemies and escape from bad encounters. Unlike Peter, Miles has a lot less finishers and unfortunately he doesn't obtain new skills from purchasing suits. As of now, I doubt that this game can have as many game styles to try as the OG, cause remember, on my Spiderman Is It Worth It, I did say that there were plenty of different game styles to try, until you found the style that represented you. Again, due to the fact that this game's length is equal to the 1/4 of the OG, the enemy variety is not as big. You have the normal thugs who melee, the heavies, the people with the gun, the heavy with the weapons, two types of people with shields, the people who wear power gloved who act similar to the melee weapons, the special swordsman who I did like, the tank, and those who wear helmets that detect you whilst you're invincible. Unfortunately, some of them do not appear as often due to the fact that they were introduced very late in the story mode. In terms of boss fights, there are 5 and they're extremely good and very different from the previous title ones. In terms of music, this game took the epic orchestra of the original game and changed it to a hip-hop style, and let me tell you, it works 100%. It matches Miles' swag and his web-swinging style a lot. Music plays a lot of role on Miles' life, as he used to mix different songs. Speaking of audio, the amazing J. James Johnson is back once again, hating on both of our Spider-Man. However, we have a new podcaster with the name of Danica Hurt, who is also a huge Spider-Man fan. Keep that podcast on and listen to their crazy back and forth. Trust me, it's worth it. Last but not least, the side activities. Similarly to Marvel Spider-Man, we have the return of the city crimes. However, unlike the original, they are way less and they can be accessed at any point from the Spider app, an application that allows Miles to fight crimes and other side missions. Most of the side missions are very similar to the original, but then again, you are Spider-Man defending the city left and right. As for collectibles, this time around, Miles is collecting enemy crates that upgrade his gear, a set of pictures while you're doing a very nice side quest, sound samples, and last but not least, Peter's training sessions. As I mentioned above, some of the side activities are very repetitive in terms of go there, beat the enemies, follow the cable, Venom punch the main reactor, and allow the power to go through the cables. Overall, I found the game a perfect continuation of the universe I already fell in love with. As I mentioned, the pacing of the game is a bit fast, and this might leave players dissatisfied with the content of the game, especially when the game is worth 50 euros. Personally, I got the ultimate version for the PS5, which costs 20 euros more, but comes alongside with a free copy of the original PS4 game, but remastered. Although I love the original, for me, I felt like Miles was not worth £50 alone. As I mentioned, I 100% the game within 8 hours to 10. It is important to specify that the game is not a simple reskin. New York City's changed, new artworks were created, the building construction of the OG changed and are now finished, new areas are also reachable, and they are decorated in a very festive way. Miles Morales is a very different Spider-Man than Peter Parker, and if you have a PS5, trust me, they did know how to show the graphics and the new powers of the PS5. Anyway, this is all I have to say about Miles Morales. A fantastic game that feels different from the original, although always adding and improving on an already great formula, but suffers from its small length. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments what are your thoughts on the game, if you played it or if you are gonna play it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!